My next guest today is the lovely Anne Jeffrey. Anne is a one of many certified coach and at the moment has re-entered the NHS on the front lines because of the coronavirus situation, which is extraordinary. She's a mother. She has two kids, one of whom is in Australia at the moment, one of whom is home, and a great viola player, as I understand it. And thank you so much for coming to join us today. It's great to speak with you. So you started your journey with one of many a few years back now, yeah?
So I'm just trying to think how old I'd have been. So I'd have been in my early 50s and thinking, is this it? I need something different. And I've been trying to change the world by myself, which, as you can imagine, is rather difficult to do. And I was still in that full-on superwoman, mixture of warrioress. I'd been on the front line for 14 years in the acute hospital, tried to change the world there, had some little tiny wins, and thought I need another way of doing this. And I saw an advert on Facebook from people that I knew, and they said there was this one of many conferences. I think it was the second one actually that I pitched up to, and it was just something completely new. And I thought, oh, this really resonates with me. Then I had all those limiting things. Am I too old? Am I this? Am I that? Or maybe this has passed me by. And then just by chance, I met Julia Carter, who was having a drink, a coffee, waiting while we went in. And we had a bit of a chat. She was a pharmacist, so we had something in common with the health service. And then she just sat next to me, and it was, you were promoting Be Well and I think Be Fulfilled at the time as a package. And she went to me, like literally, she said, you need to do that. Thinking, the stranger's telling me I need to do this. And then she scribbled some financial stuff down. You can manage that. You can do that. And then I signed up. There you go. That was the start to my journey. So you can thank Julia Carter.
That's fantastic. It's wonderful how we all take this stand for each other in those moments that count, right? Because I look at what happened since then, and clearly that was a meant to be moment, right?
Absolutely.
So how have things developed and unfolded for you? You know, what has that journey of growth looked like for you?
What I've been reflecting on is that I've always worked in the NHS, as well as doing lots of other things, but parallel. So I wore a uniform. So it's really good to hide behind a uniform and be somebody completely different. So when you're in charge of an A&E department, you can boss everybody around. You can be the real warrioress and literally fight for my team, but that burnt me out. You know, so you're never really seen for being you. And then when I used to step out and was seen for being me, people were like, well, you don't fit in here, you don't belong anymore. So that all those layers have built up over the years.
So it's been very much a journey of discovering who you are without the uniform, without the tag around your neck, without the, you know, the expectations that we have layered on us in life. How was that? You know, obviously things are very different in this moment of time, but how had that started to express itself in terms of what you were doing work-wise and you know, the choices you'd made to express yourself in the world prior to, obviously, you know, global pandemic moment?
So it enabled me I wanted to reduce my hours at work. And I thought, they're never going to let me do this. They're never going to let me go down to 3 days a week. So I went and said to my manager, and really from a place of queen, and just said, Andrea, you know, I'd really like to reduce my hours. Can I do 22 and a half hours a week? And she went, yeah, that's all right. And I really was like, oh, I built myself up, and then all of a sudden she goes, that's all right. And then 6 months later, I thought, I need to reduce them further. So I said, it's only 2.5 hours. I said, can I reduce my hours to 20 hours a week? And this is the shift pattern that I want, or the pattern for, I want to work 9 to 5 on Monday, 12 to 5 on Tuesday, and 9 to 5 on Wednesday, because I have a yoga class that I do on a Tuesday morning, which I've done for years. And I've always managed somehow, this is a sorceress here, I've always managed to work and enabled to have that 2-hour yoga class, however it is.
That's extraordinary. Just coming and asking for what you need. I love it. I love it. It's such a powerful place to come from. So powerful. And so with your kind of re-engineered, you know, timetable, what were you then able to do with the rest of your time?
So what I've done is set up my own coaching practice. I've managed to run a few mini events with another Lead to Change graduate, Viv Hill. So we've done in person. We just do a quick vault factory, if that's the right expression, and do webinars, quick learning. And actually, but working with her, working with other people like Victoria Heath as well, and now I'm working with Karen Skidmore on one of her programs as well. So it's opened doors to me that I didn't even know existed for my own development and that of my clients as well. And I've been using the tools in the last 4 years at work. So I've been running mini workshops at work for the health and wellbeing team. And actually, I'd forgotten that one of my colleagues had said to me, she said, Anne, you're an influencer. And I thought that was really interesting, because I don't want to be the CEO. I don't want to lead. I've led teams. That's not where I want to be anymore. But she said, you really influence what happens in our team for the betterment, is what she was saying. You put a different perspective on it. I think I'm very fortunate in my manager, who allows me that bit and goes, okay. So, but that all kind of works together, doesn't it? That's that bit of magic that comes together to have those synchronicities.
That can come from anywhere. It doesn't have to be the designated leader. And what I'm hearing in, as you're kind of building your coaching business, you were also providing that and being recognized for bringing that kind of what I would kind of call sorceress style leadership and mother style leadership in a team in general, which I think is really powerful. Which of course then brings us to this kind of crazy moment in history, where I know a lot of women in our community have found themselves in a similar situation to you, where clearly the NHS has higher needs than usual.
Yeah.
And a lot of women had started to pull themselves away from the NHS because it wasn't supporting their growth and their development. But in this moment have chosen to make powerful choices from what I would call warrioress, the sacrifice for a cause kind of choice that says, do you know what, I do believe in this and this is what's necessary. And you've stepped back in. So how did your one of many training, your toolkit support you in making that choice from a centered place?
I've actually told them, these are the hours I want to work. And they've all said yes. So that I can still carry on with my training with momentum and building up my coaching business. I leave an hour early because I'm not going to work over my hours. I've shared that with my colleagues as well, what I'm actually going to do. So my boundaries are really strong in what I'm prepared to do and what I'm prepared not to do. I'm not going to just dive in like I would have done before and try and save the world. And I've made it a priority to make me the priority. My colleagues are my next priority and my patients are my third. And that sounds really, I don't know how it sounds. Whereas before I'd have always put my patients first and I'd have done anything for my patients, but I neglected myself. I would have put my team actually probably equal the patients because I was really protective of my team. But I always put myself last. And I thought that is not serving anybody in this moment in time. Nurses who've been nursing for a long time, never maybe done anything else, those have come back of actually being scared to ask for help. That's the other thing, is the asking for help. That they're oh no, I can't do that. They feel less than. And at the minute, they're the warriors that are out there. And they need somebody behind them to say, you're doing great. Let's get this sorted right now.
I think it is so critical at this time, because if the healthcare workers around the world can't put themselves at the center, I think that's really smart priorities. You first, colleagues second. If you're taken care of and your colleagues are taken care of, the patients will be taken care of. Do you know? Because every single healthcare worker will be resilient. Every single healthcare worker will have the ability to use their executive functioning because they sat down, ate a sandwich and had a cup of tea. It gives me great hope for the NHS, because for that reason, that there are staff, amazing people who've been away, discovered themselves, discovered boundaries, discovered what they will and won't stand for, coming back without these system tiredness that might have been there when they left. And that's actually the kind of contribution that we're going to need to get through it. It's such a powerful place to come from, Anne. It's extraordinary to witness. Thank you so much for showing up like this.
No, thank you, because without one of many, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be making the decisions that I'm making. I've got the support of a community. I have made the most amazing connections and friends. And connections, I mean like heart connections, not connections, to build a business up. I have done that as well, but it's the heart connections that I've made, and I've learned so much from those people as well as the actual coaching.
I love it, Anne. I absolutely love it. And I'm just so glad that you're one of many, my love. Thank you so much for being part of this community.